The stars blinked at the same time, and I knew the sky was looking back at me. I was on the back steps, cigarette dead between my fingers, just after 9. I know planes. We sit under 2 flight paths. I know when clouds drift over, and I know satellites. This was not that. Every point of light went dark for half a second, came back, then did it again, slower, like an eye trying out a wink. "Okay," I said out loud, to nobody. "No." I pulled out my phone and pointed it up. The camera hiccuped. White screen. Then static. Then a reboot. It did it twice. Then the battery jumped from 62 to 4. The phone died in my hand. My cat, Biscuit, shot past my ankles and hid somewhere in the kitchen I couldn't see. My neighbor's porch light blinked off, on, off again, slow and together with the stars. Then every phone in the block howled. The old emergency broadcast tone, the one from snow days and tornadoes. I fumbled with the door and went inside. The TV cut from a game show to that red banner. The voice was flat and wrong. "Emergency alert. Do not make direct eye contact with the sky. Shelter in place." I laughed once, like a cough. "Eye contact," I said. It sounded stupid. Then I went quiet because Emma was coming down the hall in her socks, rubbing her eyes. "What is it?" she asked. "She's 11. She still chews her sleeves." "Nothing big," I lied. "Just a weird alert. Go get Biscuit." Our dog, Copper, whined and then shoved his head under the couch. He's 70 pounds, and he got all the way under there. I didn't know he could do that. It made something tighten in my chest. Animals know. The news cut to a shaky guy on a roof somewhere, laughing, pointing up. His camera glitched. His eyes rolled white. It cut back to the banner. I slipped past Emma and cracked the back door again, just to check. I kept my eyes low. The stars blinked together, slow now. 1, 2, pause. 1, 2. It was on a beat like it could hear my heart. The telephone lines hummed. Ms. Keen next door hissed my name from her steps. "Nate," she whispered. She had a dish towel on her head for some reason. "Don't look." It looked back. "Okay," I said. "Okay." I grabbed the box from the hall closet with all the old moving stuff. I tore open the roll of black trash bags and the duct tape. "Help me," I said to Emma. We covered the front window, then the side ones. I climbed a chair and taped bags to the little transom over the door. She stood there handing me tape and asking what was happening. "Just a drill," I said. My hands shook and I tore the tape wrong twice. Text messages started to stack up when my phone came back. The battery jumped to 39 like it had just decided not to die. Group chat, parents from the school, folks on our street. Black out your windows. No skylights. Someone named Darren in the next subdivision said the street lights were blinking like eyelids. I peeked through a slit in the bags. The block was a mess. People out in their yards with sheets and tarps, taping and stapling. A few guys stood in the middle of the cul-de-sac, all looking up. Then their wives screamed from the porches, and they looked down. One of the street lamps flickered 1, 2, pause, in time with the stars. I could feel it in my teeth. I pulled back and taped the slit shut. My phone buzzed again. It was Travis. He's one of those guys who finds ham radios in thrift stores and can fix any small engine with a butter knife. We used to work nights together at the warehouse when we were 22. He talks too much when he's nervous. "Dude," he said, "no hello. Do you hear it?" "I hear the stupid alert." I said. I could hear it in the other room. Static. Then that same voice. Do not make direct eye contact with the sky. Do not. No, Travis said. Names. It said your name. I swear to God. Shut up, I said. Don't look, he said. His voice dropped. It looked at me. Don't look. I'm serious. Don't. He hung up. He does that too. It got worse fast. Someone on the Facebook page organized a supply run to the hardware store before they closed. Duct tape, more bags, blackout curtains, headlamps. Nobody wanted to use flashlights because people said the beams cut off when they pointed them up, like something took the light. I left Emma with Ms. Keene. We made it 3 blocks in the truck and I kept my eyes on the road, on the tailgate in front of me. Every few seconds, green stoplights and red brake lights blinked. It was like the whole town pulsed. The parking lot was full of people talking too loud and trying not to stare at the sky. Someone brought a drone for kicks. The guy set it on the ground, controller ready, phone attached. We'll see what's up there, he said, like he was making a fire. The drone went up 20 feet, 30, 40. The feed showed roofs, cars, and then it went to static. The drone kept climbing. The guy looked up, just a glance, and his girlfriend slapped his hand down over his face. The drone made no sound. It was just gone. The guy kept looking at where it should have been until I put my hand on his shoulder and pulled him toward the ground. Eyes on me, I said. He didn't blink. His pupils were big. He smelled like hot electronics. Someone set up a green laser pointer, the stupid cat kind, and tried to sweep it across the sky. The beam went up a few feet from his hand and then stopped. It looked like someone had cut the rest off with scissors. He waved it and laughed, and then stopped laughing when it started blinking, on-off, in time with the stars. A boy from across town, maybe 16, stepped out from under the pharmacy awning and stared up into the black between bagged-up windows. His friends yelled. He froze. A perfect red ring appeared on the side of his neck, crisp like a thumbprint. He dropped to his knees. He didn't scream. He just put his hand there and looked confused. His friends dragged him inside. I left 2 boxes of bags on the curb for a lady with a baby and drove home with my hand over the rear view. I didn't like how it kept trying to tilt up on its own. I cut it off with a wrench when I got home and threw it into the neighbor's hydrangeas. Emma watched me like I'd lost my mind. "You're scaring me," she said. "I know," I said. "I'm sorry." I put my hands on her shoulders. "We keep our eyes down. We keep the radio on but low. We don't go out at night. We're fine." The radio didn't help. It hissed and then it said my name. Nate? In the static. Not the announcer. Not human, really. Just my name, stretched thin like a rubber band. It said other names too, slow, as if it were tasting them. It didn't say Emma. Travis came by that night with his hoodie up and his eyes red. He stood in my entryway with his hands in his sleeves and didn't come all the way in. "It knows who's looking," he said. "It's not random. It's picking. When you look, it opens. Like a pupil, like," he caught himself. "Sorry." He had a ring on his forearm, palm-sized, like someone pressed a hot cup to his skin. It wasn't bleeding. It looked very clean. He scratched at it and winced. "How do you know?" I asked. "It said my name," he said. "Then my mom's. Then yours. You know how when a dog stares and you can't help but look? It's like that. It knows when you're alone. It talks louder then. Like it feeds on it," I said, and I didn't like how right that sounded. He looked up without thinking and I flinched even though we were inside and the windows were covered. He shook his head hard. Don't, man. Listen. If you look at it, you'll want to keep looking. It's calling roll. I think it's counting. I said nothing. I didn't want to give the idea a place to sit in my head. He left with his shoulders hunched. Stay with people, he called behind him. Don't give it attention. The first time I broke the rules, it was stupid. It was about crowns at the dentist. If you look at a bright light through a mirror, it doesn't hurt the same. That was the thought. If I just took a handheld mirror and angled it at the slice of sky between the top of the curtain and the ceiling, I could see what it was. Get a little ahead of it, figure the trick, and tell the others. I stood in the hallway with the little bathroom mirror and held it above my head and tipped it. I kept my eyes on the floor until I didn't. I saw the glass fill with dark and then a bright ring like the flare around the moon in winter. It blinked once, slow. Then I was on the floor. My cheek was on the carpet. It was wet. I smelled something like a blown fuse. My phone said 3:14 when I had just looked, and it was 1:05. There was a round scorch in the carpet where my head had been, a neat little brown halo. I touched my face and my fingers came back dry. My nose hurt. Biscuit was in the linen closet, crying. Emma was in her bed, asleep, and I had no memory of walking away from the hallway. My hand hurt where the mirror had been. When I looked, there was a red circle in my palm, such a perfect shape it made my stomach roll. I wrapped it in a dish towel and sat on the edge of the tub until my breathing slowed. I took a pen and wrote on the inside of my left wrist, big black letters, "No mirrors." Daytime was better. The sun didn't blink. The sky didn't feel like it had teeth. We took turns sleeping during the day, me and Emma, on the floor in her room. We left the radio off and put a podcast on instead, old cartoons, something stupid. It didn't stop the sound from the vents whispering my name at 3 in the morning, soft, like it had learned how lips work. It didn't stop me from seeing, as I lay there, the ceiling fan's shadow throw thin lines around the light fixture, and those lines moved like eyelashes. They opened, but nothing was behind them. They closed, and it got very quiet in my head. I put my arm over my face and counted. On the second night, Ms. Keene rang our bell without stepping out of her doorway. She held up a piece of paper with shaky hands. The buses leave at midnight, it said. She had written, "Go?" and 3 question marks. Her grandson had drawn a bus at the bottom with a smile. I nodded. I said through the door, "We'll try. If it looks bad, we turn back." She looked relieved, and also not. The world was too loud with nothing happening. We left at 11:30. The streetlights blinked like slow eyes watching a nap. We had blankets over the windows and a strip to see the road. I had ripped the rear view off, but the mountain was still there, like a little black sunflower with no head, and I kept seeing it in my peripheral and thinking it was watching me. I told Emma to keep her head down and hold Copper's collar, and not to look at anything reflective. We made it 2 miles. Near the overpass, the cars in front of us started to slow. The light ahead went out. Not just off. Out, like it had been eaten. The stars blinked faster. The radio died even though it had worked 3 minutes before. I tapped it and it popped, and then it said, in my daughter's voice, "Daddy?" Then cracked and hissed and said my name, and my stomach went to ice. I could feel it above us. I didn't see it. It felt like someone holding a lid just over your head. The whole inside of the car got colder. People got out of their cars without meaning to. You could see it in their bodies. They stepped into the road and tilted their chins. The man in the SUV to my left had 2 kids in the back, and he looked at the sky for less than a breath, and the side of his face sizzled. The smell hit and I gagged. His wife grabbed his shirt and screamed, "Don't look, don't look," and he looked again and then he dropped like he'd been told to lie down. I wanted to gun it and run. I wanted to get out and run. Instead, I put my hand on Emma's head and I said, "We're going home." "If we go, we can't come back," she said. She meant if the buses left, if other people got out and we stayed. She meant the kind of leaving that means leaving people. "Home," I said, and turned the truck around. I did not look at anything but the white line and the bags taped crooked to our own windshield. After that, Travis stopped pretending he wasn't obsessed. He sat on his roof all night with a walkie and a thermos. He said he was trying to keep it busy. "Like giving it a laser pointer," he said, grinning with one side of his mouth. His neck had 2 more rings. He had one on the inside of his wrist, right on the vein. I made him come down for coffee, and he stared at the mug, entranced, like it was some new shape. "It says names," he told me. He rubbed the ring on his wrist. "Not random. It wants someone to look back. If you don't, it gets louder. If you do, it sees you. But for a while after, it's quiet. It's like attention is food." I looked at his face. It was thinner. He smelled like ozone and cigarettes. "So you're feeding it?" He shrugged. "Someone has to." "That's not brave," I snapped. "That's you being right next to the fire because it makes you feel." I stopped because he flinched like I'd hit him. He stared down at his hands. "Don't look up," he said quietly. "That's all I've got. Don't look." I put him in my spare room and forced him to sleep 4 hours while I sat in the hall and drank the last warm soda in the house. The ceiling breathed. That's the only way I can say it. You know the little drafts you never notice? You notice them when they come in waves. I counted to 6 and waited, and counted again, and when I got to 6 and it didn't come, I realized I had been waiting to drown. He left the next night anyway. A note on my fridge said, "Roofs. Less noise." He took my good flashlight. I sat down in the kitchen and put my head in my hands and stayed there until the radio said my name like it thought it had the right to. It tried to split us up. It made the house talk in Emma's voice sometimes. It made the pipes thump like footsteps. It made the doorbell ring once at 2 a.m., long and slow, and when I went to look through the peephole, my hand stopped an inch from it like I'd hit a wall. I backed away and went and lay on the floor next to my kid. I kept my fingers on her sleeve so I could count her. I broke the rules again, because I'm not brave all the time. I tried water. A bowl on the back step. If I looked at the sky as a reflection, it wouldn't be direct. That was the logic. I don't know why I thought a new angle would trick something that made the lights blink. I set the bowl down and squatted and watched the surface shiver with my breath, and then hold still, and then a ring of darkness widened across it like an iris. The water blinked. Then I was in the yard, barefoot. The grass was wet. There were shards around me and a circle cut into the welcome mat where the bowl had sat, like the mat had been stamped. My palm had a thin raft of blisters and a perfect O. I went inside and didn't say a word to my kid. I washed the cut and taped it and wrote on the back of my other hand, "No water." I started to learn its rhythm. It waited until one of us went to the bathroom, until Emma hummed to herself in the kitchen. It pressed then. The streetlights timed with it. When we all sat in the living room and played a board game at noon under lamps, it was quiet. When we sent texts to 3 people at once and kept the line open, it was quiet. At night, alone in the doorway, it was right there. It wanted attention, and it wanted us one by one. You could feel it focus. On the 4th night, Travis called from the roof. "Nate," he said, very soft. The wind put itself between us. It's asking for her. It says Emma, like it learned a new word. Stay off your back steps. Don't turn on the porch light. I stood. Where are you? Up near the water tower, he said. I can keep it a little busy. You should get the others together. Don't look. Make noise. I think it hates when we talk to each other. Like it gets thinner. Come here, I said. Get off there. Get something dumb, he said. I told it to look at me instead. It liked that. I grabbed my coat. I'm coming. No, he said. The radio hissed like a whisper with teeth. No. Keep the lights off. Close your eyes if you have to. Don't look up. It wants you bad right now. That's good. Means it leaves the others. I didn't listen. You can tell me 20 times a thing. I won't hear it until I see you, and then I'll hear it, because I always learn too late. I left Emma with Copper, and I told her to keep talking to Ms. Keene through the wall. I made her promise to keep saying words, any words, and not to stop. Sing, I said, even if you don't want to. She started to sing the alphabet. Her voice shook on L-M-N-O-P. I kept my eyes on the ground and ran. I could feel it when I stepped off my porch. My skin knew like a dog-nosed thunder. The street was almost empty. Most people were under their taped windows, whispering, blinking on purpose. The water tower was a pale shape against a darker dark. I got to the base and looked at my feet and called his name. Up here, he said. His voice was so thin I wanted to look up just to fill it with something. Don't. I put my hand on the cold ladder and climbed, eyes on the rungs. The metal hummed under my hands. The hum matched the blink. 1 rung, 2, pause. 1, 2. My brain started to line up with it. I bit the inside of my cheek until I tasted blood just to feel something else. He was sitting with his back to the rail, legs out, looking up. I didn't look where. I saw the shape of his face, the outline. His skin had 3 rings now, 1 on his jaw like a cruel smile. You can't feed it, I said. You can't trade with a thing like this. It just wants you to see it, he said. That's all. And then it goes quiet. He smiled weakly. It's kind of pretty. Don't say that. Come sit, he said. Just for a second. It's asking for you. Hear it? I've never heard it ask so nice. The radio at his side clicked. The static said my name like it was tasting every letter. It said it again, brighter, like it had seen me hear it. It felt like a hand halfway through a wave, reaching. It was a trick that made my whole body want to obey. I crouched and looked at Travis's chest and put my hand there. Look at me, I said. Not it. That's not what it wants, he said, and winced. A new ring was forming under his shirt, right over his heart. It was darker, and it cracked, and a little curl of smoke rose, and I made a noise I'm not proud of. Come down, I said. Please. It's hungry, he said. He sounded sad. I thought if I gave it enough, it'd get full and fall asleep. I didn't think it just liked the taste. You don't have to keep feeding it, I said. We can starve it. We just have to stop looking. He laughed, and it sounded like a cough. Tell them that, he said. He pressed the walkie into my hand. His fingers were very hot. Make them talk to each other. Don't let them go outside alone. He reached up then, fast, like someone had jerked a string on his wrist, and he tilted his head back. I grabbed him by the shirt and pulled. He was a grown man, but he felt like a boy in my hands, all elbows and no weight. His eyes rolled, and I put my palm over them by instinct. like I was shielding him from the sun. The heat under my hand blistered me in a ring. He jerked. He made a sound like a question. I kept my hand there. "Look at me," I said. My eyes were on the crease of his mouth, the scar he had from a bike when we were kids. "Look at me. Travis, stop." The streetlights blinked very fast. The whole town blinked. The radio in my pocket said my name so clear I could have sworn it was my mother. It tried to wedge itself into that place you keep old songs. It pried. I closed my eyes and put my forehead to his temple, and I didn't let go. He went very still. The heat faded under my palm in a way I knew was wrong. When I pulled my hand away, his lids were black around the edges, like someone traced them with a coal. His mouth was open the way a person's mouth falls when they sleep hard. He was breathing, but it was the small, shallow kind you hear at 3 in the morning from a kid with a fever. I shook him once, twice. He didn't wake. "Okay," I said, to him, to the thing above us. "Okay." I dragged him down the ladder blind. I put his head on my shoulder and banged my knee and swore. The hum in the rails slowed. By the time we hit the ground, it was less like a heartbeat and more like a clock you forgot to wind. I got him to Ms. Keene's, and they laid him on her couch under 3 blankets like you can keep a person here with weight. I took the walkie into my kitchen and turned every other one up. "Don't look outside," I said, voice shaking. "Don't be alone. Talk. Right now. Say your names. Say what you ate for dinner. Say anything. Don't stop." For a minute, nobody said anything. Then, Ms. Garcia from 2 streets over said, "My name is Lydia, and I had toast." Jason from the grocery said, "I'm Jason. I'm here." Little voices chimed in. Dogs barked. Someone sang happy birthday even though it wasn't anyone's birthday. It sounded stupid and thin. It filled the air anyway. I went to Emma's room and sat on the floor. I pulled her onto my lap like she was 5 again and put my hand over her eyes. "Tell me about the beach," I said. We'd gone once before her mom left for good. It was a cold day and the water hurt. It was the only beach we had. "It was cold," she said. Her voice shook. "We got hot chocolate after." "Right," I said. "You spilled yours." "On your shoes," she said, and giggled a little, and then put both hands over my hand like she was holding it on herself. Copper pressed against our legs like a sack of flour with a heartbeat. The ceiling shadow lashes tried to open. They worked hard. The radio said my name less and less like it had forgotten what it was saying. The street lights out front went out, came back, went out, and then stayed. The hum was gone. The silence wasn't heavy. It was just weather again. Around 5, the birds started. Not all at once. A few, then more. I hadn't noticed how quiet they had been. The emergency alert voice came on again and I flinched like it had hands. "All clear," it said. "Avoid unnecessary travel." It didn't tell me not to look. It sounded embarrassed. I took my hand off my daughter's eyes. She blinked at me. Her eyelashes were normal and soft and had nothing to do with the sky. "Is it gone?" she asked. "I don't know," I said. I was honest, because it felt like the right time to start being that way. I think it doesn't like being ignored. We went outside at noon. I kept my eyes on the ground out of habit. The windows were a mess of duct tape and bags that flapped like bad flags. People stepped out onto their porches and squinted into the daylight like they had been underground for a long time. I looked at the water tower. There was a black burn on the metal where we had sat, a neat circle the size of a plate. Travis slept for a full day. He woke up with his voice rough and his eyes rimmed red. He said he didn't remember the climb, or my hand. He didn't want to go back on any roof. He cried in my kitchen, full on, like something had been holding the tears in a bag and someone had cut the bag open. I let him. I cried, too, because I hadn't let myself yet. At night now, I keep my blinds. The streetlights are boring again. The stars don't blink together anymore. Sometimes a satellite glides and I feel my shoulders try to hunch, but then it keeps going and I can breathe. The burns on my hand healed in a perfect circle. I don't wear my wedding ring anymore. It feels wrong to have a ring there. We had a cookout the next week. We all brought something and said our names and sat together on folding chairs and kept our eyes in each other's faces. It felt like a dare and like a prayer. The kids ran and yelled and Copper forgot about under the couch. He slept in the sun with his paws twitching like he was chasing something simple. Sometimes the radio gets a little hiss at night and says, "Nah," and stops, like a person who forgot what they were about to ask. I turn it down and go sit at the edge of Emma's bed and tell her a story about when she was 2 and threw a shoe at the mayor's head at the parade. We laugh until she falls asleep. I don't film the sky anymore. I don't look at it long. If I have to, I let it be what it is without me. If that sounds dramatic, you weren't here. When the stars blinked together, it saw us. We made a choice after that. We didn't give it what it wanted. We gave each other our attention instead, and it wasn't enough for it. That's the only thing that felt like a win. If it ever tries again, I know what to do. I keep my eyes down, and I keep my people close. That's it. That's all of it. I hope you enjoyed that story. If you did, go ahead and hit subscribe. I've got plenty more coming. Give it a like if it sent a chill down your spine. And, of course, there's another one you can find on my channel. See you on the next one.